I'm Nicole. Thanks for tuning into Trigger Warnings. I started this channel originally as a space for me to verbally process life, but now my hope is to bring some healing, hope, and sanity to others as I share stories, embarrassing moments, lots of tears, and even some of the knowledge I've learned along the way. Life isn't always easy, but I believe in learning from others' mistakes.
Hello
so
again, welcome back to Trigger Warnings. I wanted to talk a little bit about family. It's something that's kind of been stirring in my brain, I guess, for a little bit. And I understand that it's coming from my own personal perspective, so it might be different for everyone else, and that's okay. And I'll get into some of that as I keep talking. So I'm like, where do I even want to start? First of all, I recognize that everybody has family, whether they're alive, whether they're connected to their family or not, I don't know. But, well, things are getting a little strange, but as a general rule, as a human being, there's a father and a mother gene somewhere. So anyway, and that typically has lineage with grandparents and aunts and uncles and cousins and this and that. So family can be big, family can be small, family can be painful, family can be, joyful and happy, and like there's a lot of really good memories that can be connected to family. Also, there can be a lot of really crappy memories connected to family. Like it's a pretty heavy topic. And I'm not going to get into all the details of all that stuff. I'm just going to touch on this one particular topic that's kind of been stirring in my brain. So I guess I'll just pop it off now, and if it offends you, cool, then you can click off and not watch it. But if you're intrigued, keep watching, like, subscribe, all the things. So I did a short on this like a little while ago. Check it out. I don't know. But basically my thought process with my own stuff and, learning things from other people is that family isn't everything, and nobody owes anyone anything. And that's a general rule, but I think that applies in family too. Just because this person is your mom, just because this person is, fill in the blank, doesn't mean shit. So sorry, not sorry if that bothers you, if that offends you. I would actually encourage you to keep watching, because I think it's really important to hear other people's differing opinions, whether you agree with them or not. I think that makes people a little bit more well-rounded instead of just immediately clicking off on something because they don't agree. So, where do I even want to start? I guess for me, it kind of started pretty early. I always kind of got a sense that things were pretty fucked up in my family. And dysfunction, I get it. It's in everything, everywhere. Nobody is perfect. I don't know. I just had this sense, even when I was young, I was like, I don't fit in here. I don't belong here. This just doesn't, and it was my family. It's blood family connections, by marriage, whatever. But there was just something off about it. And I just knew. And that's not to say that like I manifested what's happening now, I think a lot of it, there's, I don't actually want to go into that because I feel like I don't want to diagnose somebody else. That's not my job. So anyway, I just had that sense, and I've had pain, everyone's had pain. My relationship with my mom, for example, never been great. I would hide when I would hear her coming because I just didn't want to be around her. I didn't want to be connected to her. And my little heart, my little brain just knew that there was something off. And that sucks, but that's the reality. And fast forward, now growing up, I've lived with my grandma, my mom's mom, and I can totally see the connections. I can totally see some of the exact same, I don't want to say personality traits because they're not necessarily personality traits, but just characteristics the dysfunction didn't fall far. And so I'm experiencing some of the same pains and some of the same crap that happened with my mom. And that's unfortunate. And I only share that. I'm not going to share the details because that's not important right now. And I'm not here for you to give me sympathy. I don't care about that. That sounds really harsh. Thank you for your sympathy if you have some for me, whatever. But what is fascinating to me, and I think it's kind of just been swirling for a while because of all of this stuff and me getting healthy and me learning more about emotional health and emotional, I guess, intelligence, just all the things in that world. And I'm not perfect. I know that there's so much more to learn and so much more to glean. And there's still a lot of pain inside of my heart that I'm sure will come up until I die. So, yay. Where do I want to go? So, okay. Because of all this stuff, and I have shared this before, this is not why I'm doing these videos, but I am starting a life coaching business because I want to, help other people kind of walk them hand in hand with crap, because I've been through it too, So, all that to say, I'm on social media often, and I follow a lot of like life coaching and other accounts and things like that. So there's this one account that I followed, and she was sharing some stuff that like really resonated with me, and it was about family. And I'd never really heard anyone talk about this particular subject or just the perspective that she had. And essentially there was two things that I gathered from it. One was just because family is family doesn't mean that we owe them something. Doesn't mean that I have to subscribe to a certain set of rules or expectations. And then the other one was in regards to like parent pain. And I mean, it can apply to any pain in relationship, but when a child decides that what's healthiest and best for them is to create a boundary which requires no contact, how it seems that the question is always, how come? And what can the child do to reconnect to the parent, instead of what did the parent do that actually causes the child to want to distance themselves from their parent. And I started seeing that happen in my life most recently, within the last couple months. So the story, it's all intertwined, I'm sure, but again, I've mentioned before, my relationship with my mom, not great. Very practically non-existent. I don't hate her. I really don't. I am not a fan of a lot of the pain that's been caused, the way that maybe she went about things. And I've tried to communicate that stuff with her, and not in a way of like trying to tell her that she did something wrong or that she's bad, but I think that that's what she hears. So, it kind of creates this non-existent relationship. And not too long ago, she came into town, and it was actually around my birthday, and she had messaged me and asked me if she and her husband could take me to dinner, which isn't really something I wanted to do, actually. And I told her that, and not because I'm rude, like I'm literally learning how to have a voice and speak up for myself and be like, you know what, that doesn't sound good to me. And so she asked me, she followed up with what did I want to do? And I didn't actually know. So I didn't respond right away. And then a couple days later, she sent me another message, totally unrelated. And for me, I was like, well, I don't really know how to communicate any of this. And that's my own stuff. That's my own pain that I'm still learning how to figure out. Really vulnerable moment for you. So anyway, obviously it didn't go anywhere. And whether this is true or not, like I said, I live with my grandmother right now, my mom's mom. So while they were in town, they happened to be at my grandma's house pretty much every single stinking day. And it almost kind of felt like they were doing it on purpose to try and trap me instead of, whatever. Because, and I only say that, like, that sounds all paranoid. I only say that because there have been so many other times that she's come to town to visit, and she jam-packs her schedule, and she is always busy, out somewhere else, meeting someone else, having dinner with someone else, connecting, blah, 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 blah. Like, she packs her schedule so full before she even gets out here. It's insane. And I've had pain because of that, because I'm looking forward to connecting with my mom, but she's already packed her schedule full and hasn't even bothered to connect with me. So that's my previous experiences with her. So the fact that she was asking me is quite abnormal. So yeah, so they were there pretty much every single day. And I was like, this doesn't feel good, Needless to say, there was no connection. And, I think it might have been the day before they left or the day that I don't really know, because I actually don't know when they left. But one of her friends, who barely knows me, decided to send me a text message and say, something like, please spend at least 30 minutes with your mom. It would mean a lot to her or something. And just like, that might seem like no big deal to somebody. That might seem like no big deal to you. But to me, I was pissed. I was like, who the fuck are you to think that you have any right and any say to speak about any sort of situation in my personal life with my mother? And I responded a couple days later, and I actually connected and sent the link to that video that I found on social media about how come people are always asking, the parent, but they're not asking the child what actually caused this no contact situation. So anyway, that happened. I won't go into the details of what I said and what was said after and blah, 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 blah. Fast forward, not too long afterwards, there was another situation, and another one of my mom's friends, who I have very little connection with, he helped me with my car once or twice years ago. We're not close by any means at all. Randomly, all of a sudden, I have a text message from him with some Bible verse or some crap like that about like parents and, like doom and gloom that's connected to it or some bullshit like that. And don't get me wrong, I love Jesus still. I'm struggling, because he's this infinite unknown being that I don't quite understand, and I never will. But there's a lot reconstructing inside of my heart in regards to that relationship with him. But that's a whole nother tangent. So anyway, I get this text message. I actually didn't see it right away because my phone was on Do Not Disturb. And I just deleted it because I was like, you gotta be fucking kidding me right now. Like, this is total bullshit. Like, what makes anyone think that it's anyone else's business but mine and my mom's to start talking about my relationship with my mom? And the fact is that nobody has clearly reached out and asked me anything about how are you? What's going on in your life? Like, how's your heart? Like, no one is asking me my side of the story. They're just hearing whatever it is they want to, and then they're coming after me and attacking me and telling me that I should do a certain thing because she's my mom. So anyway, all that to say, it's a really long story. Well, lots of stories all kind of combined into one, but I kind of am leaning on this side of, I don't subscribe to that. Sorry. Yes, you're my family. Yes, you gave birth to me. Yes, you're blood relatives, whatever. But you know what? That doesn't give anything. I don't give a damn. That's what I'm trying to say. And it doesn't mean that I don't care. It doesn't mean that I don't love you any less because you're my family. But I'm not going to get treated like a nobody or anything. I'm not just going to bend over backwards so that you can fuck me in the ass because I'm your granddaughter or because I'm your daughter and just say that it's okay. Sorry. So anyway, that's kind of harsh. Sorry for the language, but not really. So I don't know if that is helpful for anybody else. Like I said, stumbling on those videos on Instagram was really eye-opening for me, and it felt like it finally gave me a voice for things that I've been experiencing for a long time in my family that wasn't okay. Especially because I've been getting all of this, you know, backlash from people who don't even know me, trying to force me into relationships when I'm not being treated like I should be. I'm not being treated like a human being. I'm not being treated like I even exist, or that any of my opinions matter at all. And I'm really tired of that now, and I'm not gonna put up with that. So anyway, like I said, it's kind of a long rant of sorts, but if it can give a voice to somebody who's experiencing even just a small amount of what I've experienced, like, you know, pain in your family, dysfunction, confusion, like manipulation, like all those kind of things that have left you really confused, and you're getting messages that, like, societal messages that we've all bought into, that's like, you know, family is everything, and, you know, you need to show up a certain way because they're family, even though they fucking abused you, or even because, you know, whatever. No, you don't. You don't have any right. They don't have any right. You don't have to do a goddamn thing. So anyways, that's my soapbox for the day on family. I kind of hope that I offended some of you, because I would like people to start seeing that we're not tied to that. You know, I get to choose my family. Family is a place where I can show up and I can be a mess, and I'm going to be loved and accepted. And it doesn't matter if I change. So anyway, I think I'm just going to leave this one here. Like and subscribe. Follow along as I uncover all these things. I'll cry sometimes. I'll have some other rants, and we'll have a good time. So have a good day. See ya.